You'd think that if you put two powerhouse performances together, like Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, you would get a much better film than this one. Straight out of the gate, the first half of The Gorge was absolutely solid. Even as somebody who really has no interest in on-screen romances, I really liked the rom-com vibe this movie had going for it. It almost had a Sleepless in Seattle vibe, except they could see each other the whole movie. They just couldn't verbally communicate. And it was interesting to see how they could overcome that obstacle. Going into this, I was expecting a dark and brooding military thriller. But then when Anya Taylor-Joy starts rocking out to Christmas music, I knew that I was in a very different film than I expected. So The Gorge does have legitimate moments of sweetness, and I really did root for the two to get together. This is where I'm going to spoil it for you, so if you don't want to know what happens, skip to the next video. But before you go, let me show you what my rating is for this movie. Okay, spoilers. So when they actually do get together, that's when the film completely falls apart and loses its luster. I could have watched an entire film of these two figuring out how to connect with a literal chasm separating them. I thought that was a really fun and interesting concept. Even with these monsters coming up out of the gorge, trying to hamper any attempts at communication could have been very fun and interesting to watch. But those monsters are what this movie pushes all its chips in for. And then it just suddenly becomes this half-assed sci-fi hellscape. Now don't get me wrong, I am all about fighting aliens and demons. But I had just fallen for the romance aspect of this movie, and the sharp turn really was not welcome for me. I think the movie would have been a lot more fun if they struggled to find ways to actually cross the gorge to get to each other. Sort of like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon or the last part of The Sandlot when they're coming up with all of these inventions to try to get the baseball bat from over the fence. I think that would have been for a much more interesting movie because we've all seen the aliens and the monster thing before. It's just that if I'm going to see that movie, I want to know that's the movie I'm going to see. The Gorge tries too hard to appeal to two separate groups of people, mainly men and women. But I think this movie would have been better if they blended the romance with the action. So I'm neutral on this movie. You can choose to watch this, or if you are looking for that blend of romance and kicking monsters' butts, you could watch Love and Monsters instead. I didn't really care for that movie either. It really doesn't matter.